We are live. Just want to make sure. Yep, I just want to make sure that we're bothering other people around. Of course not. As mentioned, as always, hit that little bell notification. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, even though I've given you absolutely no value as of yet. Do notice that obviously not obviously because you don't know yet, but that is a really expensive camera. And that is where I'm going to be going live, hopefully on Monday, because I'm going to be setting up little contraptions. Good morning, good morning. How we doing? How we doing? So what are we going to be talking about today? Okay, so the future. Why is the future very important? Number one is that you need to have some kind of confidence that the future is going to be better than the past. There's always going to be one piece of hair out of line, but I don't give a shit. The future has to be seen as something that's good. Otherwise, you obviously lose faith. We've already talked about that. That's nothing new. Okay, the big thing now is this is an incredible question, and I don't know where it came from. I wish I could credit the person, but I'll just go into it, which is, how is the world going to experience you in 20 years? How is the world, not who are you going to be, but how is the world experiencing you? Are they experiencing you as a fit, enthusiastic, happy, energetic person that's doing really well in their job? How are they experiencing you? Do you have a new business that's opening? Do you have multiple streams of income? Are you public speaking? Are you writing blog posts? Are you into photography? Whatever. This is such an important question because it's not about you, it's about the world, and it's about your legacy. That is the most important thing, is that, a lot of people say, they're like, well, this is what I want to do. Okay, fantastic. Well, when you do that, how is the world experiencing your company or your relationship? How is the person, good morning, Kelly, how we doing? How is your relationship going to be? There's so many different questions. I just want to make sure, okay, we're good to go. We're on Wi-Fi and everything. This was a question that really got me thinking, and then going into Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, which is an incredible book. Highly recommend you guys check it out. It's called Becoming Superhuman. And when you're becoming superhuman, you're not actually living now. You're not actually living in the past, because if you're living now, it's really just habits of the past. Because what I'm doing now is something that I've always done, which is actually living in the past. Okay, so I'm going live on a tripod that I bought on Amazon, and it's my iPhone. I've already done this. It's not a big deal. It's nothing new. So that's really living in the past. The future is saying, what do I want to build? Okay, so what's his name? Danny Morell, this real estate agent out in California, built this beautiful studio. And he's a real estate agent. And he owns a couple companies. And that's exactly what I want to do. Grant Cardone first started doing it. He was the OG on building a studio. Gary Vaynerchuk was the first one to have guests on that were, yes, obviously Tim Ferriss and things like that. But Gary Vaynerchuk was the first one to really incorporate having guests, influencers, people like that, giving value of people that he knew, interviewing them and everything else. But he did it at his desk. Grant Cardone actually built a studio where you have beautiful cameras. It's always live streamed, mic'd up, just good audio, crisp, clear, internet connection, everything. This guy, Danny Morell, actually built the exact same thing. In my how is the world going to be experiencing you, that's exactly what I'm bringing. Because I started breaking it down, and I'm saying, if I'm building a business and I want this business to scale, what do I not need to do? And what is the only thing I need to do? Okay, what is the only thing that you need to do in your business? Okay, going to the gym, that's something I have to do. Eating well is something I have to do. But when it comes to actually doing, say, internet services or web design or social media engagement, maybe not engagement, but social media posts, I don't need to do that. Okay, someone else creates it. Someone else can log into later.com, which is a social media app, and then you put it up. Okay, so how is the world going to be experiencing me? I'll just give you mine. I want to be traveling around. And and I'll get into that in a second, there's this really funny clip by Will Smith, and he talks about it, and he goes, fame, people always say you change when you're famous. He goes, I love it. I love when I'm famous. He goes, I walk around and people are like, is that Will Smith? Is that not Will Smith? And he plays a game with it. And I think he was on Jimmy Fallon when he said this. And it's one of those things that, he saw that. Okay, he visualized that's how he expected the world to see him, because that's who he was. He was a caring, cool, funny, enthusiastic, energetic individual. So that's when you start saying, I want the world to experience me this way, then you start acting like that just a little bit today. Why? I'll give you an example. Is when I go out and it's like 2:30 and I've just been running around all day. I made phone calls, I had appointments. Like today I have an 11, a 12, a 2, a 4:30, and these are all different. What's going on, Chris? How we doing? And these are all over the city. So I'm going to be running around, okay? And there's going to be a time where my energy isn't going to be as high. And that's when the willpower kicks in, which is, should I go for something that's like an upper, which is a healthy oatmeal, or am I going to go for something which is like an energy bar? And an energy bar, I sort of know what's in it, but obviously, it's probably sprinkled in with, maybe a little bit of honey and everything else. Not bad, but it's not the best, okay? Because I know when I have sugar now, it kind of gives me a headache, gives me groggy, I get foggy and things like that. So this is how I'm actually thinking. This is how I'm actually living into the future today. So when I go out, and I'm, obviously at wherever I'm going to buy this, I go through my mind, I'm like, imagine that I'm really, really famous right now. And people around me know who I am. And I'm this lifestyle guy. I'm this guy that's living a beautiful lifestyle, and I've created my life. How am I gonna make the decision right now at the counter? Do I go with the oatmeal, which is healthy with nuts and walnuts and whatever, or am I going to go with the energy bar? The energy bar, someone could easily photograph, put it online, and everything else. So I actually live into the future right now, and I say, but nobody notices me now. Nobody knows who I am now. But this is how I'm living in the future right now. I'm also living into the future right now where I need to build out my business and scale my business in a way that only I can do certain things. Property tours, only I can do that. How we doing, everybody? I like it. Start the conversation. Only I can do property tours. Only I can go live and give my 2 cents because I'm the one that's ingesting so much information on a daily basis. So much. Just every second of my day is spent. Any downtime, I'm traveling, I'm commuting, I'm waiting on the platform at the subway, I'm on the subway, I'm reading through things just to get that one little nugget to get a little bit better, okay? Just a little bit better, okay? So I'm the only one that's actually, maybe because it's just my desire, is that I take it and then I formulate it into, okay, how does this apply to me and other people? And that's the only thing that I can do. Just trust me, whatever job you have, something is going to be automated. This is an example. So in real estate, Amazon bought this company that it's a doorbell, and it also interlocks with your lock, and it also has a camera. Okay, so they bought this company. I don't know how much, whatever. I forgot the name of the company. But I was actually listening to this real estate podcast, and they said, what about the future if you want to show a home? All you have to do is on your app, give someone, a buyer, access for 30 seconds, and they're allowed in, and then you have cameras all over your house. And it's recorded, and Amazon knows because they're recording it to their AWS, which is Amazon Web Services. You're paying a monthly fee for the access to these individuals. Imagine a buyer that can walk through a house. Where is the actual agent? Where is the agent needed? A buyer's agent needed. If a buyer could walk up to a house, maybe the listing agent, maybe they're not even present. They're probably not even going to be present because they're already giving delivery guys access to homes. They're already trying it out. So you have to think, okay, how is the world going to be experiencing not only me, but how am I going to be experiencing the world in the future? You have to understand that there is so much disruption going on that if you are not getting better, if you are not improving, if you are not looking at your job and saying, okay, this is an area, look at real estate, because that's what I'm in. Let's say travel. You already know the travel. This one guy was talking on the podcast. He goes, I use a travel agent because that time of me booking the flight, looking at my schedule, understanding how to get there, the transportation to and from the airport, and obviously the hotel, he goes, it's not worth my time. So he uses a travel agent. Is he affluent? Yes, but he's barely affluent. He probably He's not a multi-millionaire, but he looks at his time of say 2 hours or 3 hours, and he says, if it takes me 3 hours to book a trip, 2.5 hours to book a trip, how much is that worth in my day? I'm gonna give someone $400, $500, do all of that for me. This is how I want to fly. This is when I want to arrive. This is when I want to come back. This is the style hotel. You do everything. Okay, you book everything. You just give me the confirmation. You tell me. That's the future, is you need to get to a point. There's a book about motivation. He met Arnold for exactly. He said, this is the thing, is that if the wealthiest people, this is why, so we want there to be equality. Everyone agrees with that. But you can't have equality of outcome. In other words, if Chris does a better job than me, Chris deserves more money, or he deserves more business. If Jeff Bezos knows how to build a company, if Elon Musk knows how to build a company, they deserve that. Imagine that all the car companies, they didn't compete, they just put out cars and they all equally got the same amount of money. That's impossible, okay? So that is the added, Elon Musk is doing something different than say Ford or GM, okay? And if they're not up in arms, first of all, there's less cars being bought, okay? There is only gonna be automation in the future. Then you're gonna rent out those cars. So I buy a Tesla while I'm at work, because I think Elon said 95% of a car's use is just idle. You commute to work and it sits all day. You commute home and it sits in your driveway all night. That's only 2 times that you use it, out of 2 hours out of 24, okay? Do the math on that. So I know I started off on how the world is going to be experiencing you, and then you live into that, meditate on that, visualize on that. How is the world going to be experiencing me? And I'm going to leave you with something else. Even though I've been talking about leaving you with something else, the guy wanted to laugh at him, but he stopped and asked how he planned it out or only created it. Exactly. There's finally going to be a time, and it's probably going to be in Tony Robbins' time, where self-development is going to become, if you're not doing it, you're fucked. Because that's the only way to outpace the people that are making automation, robots, AI, and AR. That is coming, where you're literally going to put on goggles and you're going to walk through a home and you're not even going to need to visit the home. You just scroll through the listings, okay? Zillow, who pretty much owns all of the listing services in the world, is coming out with something that if you inquire about a home, they're gonna have ISAs. ISAs are internal sales. And what's the best advice on taking care of your teeth? That's actually a really good question. I'm gonna just say it. Number 1 is sugar and gluten, or sugar and bread are terrible, because that includes sugar, gluten, carbohydrates, everything. Terrible. Number 2 is, if you're looking at the care of teeth. By the way, these are living things. These are living things. People don't understand that. Like, they grow and they move and they chip off and things like that. You can make your teeth better. I'll give you an example, is that when I started moving away from sugar, my teeth got less sensitive. They used to be really sensitive, where anything cold or anything hot or anything sugary, it would have like a very sensitive, so I used, so of course they got nerves inside, but they also grow and they move and they die and everything else. So number 1 is sugar, bread, limit that because it goes up into your teeth, okay? Number 3, if you want to actually have it visually appealing, red wine and coffee. If you do it, drink out of a straw. Obviously, you're probably not going to drink wine out of a straw, but limit the amount of red wine that you drink. And obviously that has sugar. So if you look at that Sugar movie, the guy that was drinking soda, he had wrecked teeth. He was a freaking teenager, and it was a car crash. And that's unfortunate. So this is one of the biggest priorities that we have to have in life, is the future, live into it now. Visualize it now. And Dr. Joe Dispenza, I'll talk about this for a second. Dr. Joe Dispenza in the book, Being Superhuman, I actually have it in my bag if you want to see the cover. So, Becoming Superhuman. And this is how slow I read. I'm only on page 55. Probably that's why many Brits don't have white teeth, because Yeah, well, they also don't really care. You know, there's this mentality. I think Americans are really the only ones that care about their facade. You know, because if you think of the amount of implants and hair extensions and makeup and everything else, it's all in the United States. Okay, and there's not many companies in Asia and South America that are able to compete with the amount of people that are into their outside appearance. And maybe that's a detriment, but to be honest, the halo effect, and you know, there's too many studies about people that look good get more business. People that are taller get more promotions. They make more money. They have better looking. You know, why do beautiful people have more daughters? I think is the name of the book. Go read that book. You know, it's all about science. You know, people bring emotions into everything. It's terrible. You know, if you want to go scientifically, that's the way to go. But Dr. Joe Dispenza in here brings up a very interesting point. I'm actually on it right now, and I was reading it on the way because it's freaking pouring rain here in New York City for like the last 3 or 4 days. I actually ruined my shoes. That was fun. But he brings up and he says, if you are attached to an outcome, and then Dr. Wayne Dyer and Eckhart Tolle actually talked about this on a podcast that I was also listening to this morning. And they brought it up and they said, if you are tied to anything, which is a ranking or what someone says about you, you're the best. Gary Vaynerchuk talked about this, is that most of his comments say you're the best. And then he says those 1 or 2 comments say, you know what, this guy's a snake oil salesman, or what the fuck it's called. And he goes, I'm not tied to either end. I could either, you know, because people are saying, what about the people that make fun of me or whatever? Reading slowly isn't a bad thing. You soak in information 100%. Dude, I'm actually blessed that this is not an Audible phone, because this is one of the most powerful books that I've read in a while. Okay, this hit me so hard on just thinking. There we go. Just killed a little fly. I don't know where it came from. But he brings up there and he goes, if you're tied to anything, you know, your looks, your appearance, your money, your relationship, your children's success, your ranking, you're number one, you're an MVP, you're a captain, you're smart, you're funny, you're whatever the case is, if you're tied to it, this is the thing, is that if you are tied to anything, he goes, actually all 3 of them, Eckhart Tolle, Wayne Dyer, and Dr. Joe Dispenza says, then you are, then your ego and your identity is tied to that. So when someone either hurts it, makes fun of it, you start losing it, or you're not the best, you actually start losing your confidence. You're not only tied to it. So how many things are you tied to? You know, you could be playing a video game and you're number one, or you're winning, or you're number one in real estate, or you have this big sale and it's not going through. Your identity, your ego, your success, your happiness, everything is tied to that. Okay? This is really deep. Okay? So what they say is become no one, nothing. You're not no one as in a loser, but become no one as in you're not attached to anything. Okay, it's really, really hard. And it was funny because someone ranked the top 100 spiritual teachers in the world. And Dr. Wayne Dyer, when he was alive, you know, all right, rest in peace, Dr. Wayne Dyer and Eckhart Tolle talked about this. And Dr. Wayne Dyer said to Eckhart Tolle, he goes, hey, listen, did you actually see this list? And Eckhart Tolle goes, yes. And he goes, I'm number 3, Dr. Wayne Dyer. And he goes, you're number 1. And he goes, Dr. Wayne Dyer was so vulnerable in this moment. He goes, there's one hand which says, it doesn't really matter what rank I am as long as I'm closer to God. And God, that could be universe, source, power, happiness, whatever word you want to use. And he obviously used God. But then he said, on the other hand, he goes, I had the ego of saying, why am I number 3? If we're all as close to spirituality, why is there a ranking? And I started thinking about it, and he was thinking about it. He was contemplating, he was meditating on it. And it was an interesting answer because he said that even him at the highest level of spirituality, where he could just, you know, just be able to unattach himself to outcomes and live in the present moment and have everything just kind of work out, and he's just cool with it. Even he had that ego, and he was saying that, and he said it always tests him. He's always improving. So that's really the improvement of Eckhart Tolle. I forgot who number 2 was. He said the Dalai Lama, and then number 3 was Dr. Wayne Dyer. And it's actually a very interesting point. So if they have an ego, we definitely have an ego. And it's kind of hard to balance, because it's like You want to make an impact, and you want to see the impact you're making. How many followers? And I'll just leave you with this: is that as we're not going to be able to compete if you're in business. You're really not going to be able to compete on data on mass scale. You should really compete on engagement. Engagement is the number one thing. Is how into your information are your followers, your customers, your clients? How into it are they? And the reason being is that they say that Google has all of your data, Facebook has all your data, Amazon has all your data. They're the ones that on a mass scale will be able to pretty much sell you anything because they know how to target you. So what they say is go thin and deep. Just go really deep. Just go dive right into that, which is essentially this. A lot of people say bring back the book reviews, which is something that I want to do, and that's not really pandering to the audience like a lot of people. Ty Lopez panders to his audience, giving away cars, and I think that's just silly. I think just go with the information. You don't need to give away cars. You're smart enough. You're good enough. Like, I don't know why he does that. Grant Cardone. Sometimes there's things that he says that I'm like, dude, you don't need to say that. That's just like not only inappropriate. It's just not. You're 60 years old, but who am I to judge? So I would say engagement is the number one thing. So if you're starting a company, you have clients, you're at work, is have your boss really like your results, or have your 3 or 4 colleagues really like your work, because word of mouth, your reputation, and reviews are going to be the number one thing. Back in the day, it was who is the only person available. Or who's the only company available? Q-tips, Kleenex. These are the names of the companies. Now we have cotton swabs or whatever the case is, or Kleenex is tissues, but them because back in the day, that's all you had. So it was really getting out to a mass audience. So I'll leave you guys with this before I go, is how is the world going to experience you in the future? 20 years from now, 20 years from now, 20 years from now for me is 52 years old. How is the world going to experience me? I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to have my schedule dialed in. I'm going to be traveling, speaking. I'm going to be writing. I'm going to have a nice oiled machine in real estate. We're going to be technologically very advanced. We're also going to be giving the best customer service and pricing. I don't know about pricing yet, because if you compete on price, you're going to go the Amazon route. The Walmart route. If you go Walmart route, that means that someone can undercut you, Amazon. Okay. If you go on the quality service, you can compete at the highest level because you're always going to have customers. The Lamborghinis, the people that say, we're only going to make 300 cars this year, 400 cars this year, or whatever the case is. They say, this is what I'm going to make. This is the amount. If you have any problems, this is it. We can customize it. But it's also going to be worth $250,000 a car, $350,000 a car, things like that. With regards to what I'm going to be good at, the only thing I think this is the only thing humans, until it's taken over by bots, is creativity, is original thinking, and the ability to absorb and disseminate information on original dissemination. So in other words, you take, say, 4 of the guys, Gary, Ty, Grant, you take all this information, whoever else is out there, whatever thought leaders come up, and then you're able to take the core and then you say, okay, they all roughly think this way, okay? And then you put that out. And I think that's going to be the future. Is that anything else? Automation is coming. Automation is already here. Within real estate, there's a lot of things that I don't even do. It's just, you just get a checklist and you do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And that's going to be the difference. The people that do not like the reputation is bored, but reputation is also success. The reputation of waking up at the same time, going to the gym and eating the same thing, that should all be automated, okay? For you guys, it should be the future, which is making the sales calls, putting your day together. That's going to be the hard thing. I'll leave you with this, and we'll pop into a beautiful Friday video. I was on the subway this morning. I don't take the subway unless it's actually going to the gym, I should say. I don't take it unless it's raining or it's snowing or something like that. So today it was raining and I was on the subway and I looked around. And it's always good to just see what the general culture is doing. You know, where are they on their phone? Are they listening to a podcast or whatever? I looked around. The guy to my left was scrolling through Instagram, and it's one of those things where you look at it and you're like, wow, you know, like, I don't know what time I was on the subway, maybe 6:15. I was on the subway at 6:15 a.m. And you think, you know, this guy's on Instagram at 6:15 a.m. You know, he's addicted because you shouldn't be. You should be planning your day. You should have your phone on airplane mode. You know, that should not be the time you escape. The time you should escape is 7 p.m. to 7:15 to 7:30 p.m. It shouldn't be a.m. because you're losing all of that creative energy. And actually, they talk about it. I'll leave you with this. You should take a screenshot of this within the book. I just got to remember what page I'm on. This was a very interesting photo. So if you look at that, so this is your creative energy and where it goes. I don't know if it's tough, but yeah, you probably can't see it because it's not really that clear. But he says your inner thoughts and ideas are right here. And then during the day, that just gets all these things, take your time and disseminate all throughout the morning and the day, including your boss, your job, your partner, your children, your parents, your ex, your relatives, in-laws, your face, body, pain, Snapchat, that's funny, Twitter, Instagram, text, you know, all these things are taking your attention, all of these things. So you really, it's not about adding things, it's about eliminating things. So that's it for today. I think that was one of my best one, a journaling method. Yeah, there you go. So we're going to talk about journaling tomorrow because Chris wants to talk about journaling. Yeah, of course. There's a lot of different methods and I'll go into tomorrow. If you guys have any questions, of course, leave it in the comments below. Hit that bell notification and whatever else people talk about. You know, I think the two things to really get either the voice out there, the two things that I'm going to be getting 1% better is that I'm going to spend at least an hour every single Sunday and make the thumbnails for the week because they currently suck. And the second thing is we're going to be obviously filming on that guy right there. And that guy right there is a way better camera. It's a $3,000 Sony AS7 or whatever the fuck it's called. But it's a Sony. The lens is coming today. I'm going to be mic'd up. It's going to be much better, and I'm going to be back to standing because I took down the thing that holds this, which is my iPhone. So have an awesome day. Talk to you guys soon. Enjoy your day. And, of course, leave your comments below. Subscribe, and I'll see you